Hi, Jared. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. And like I mentioned earlier, thank you so very much for honoring the invite. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks for inviting me
Jared.
on.
Yeah. I am quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. All right. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, Jared, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. And that's going to make our conversation here today very important to me and even to the audience because, okay, the second reason why I'm excited to have you on the show is for the sake of the listeners. I believe there are some things that you know that some of the audience needs to hear you say these stuffs directly from your mouth in order for them to experience transformation, get unstuck, get enlightened, get educated. I firmly believe all of that. And lastly, that is me again. I am convinced that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from you, your story, your insights, your experiences. So for that reason, Jared, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your journey, how you got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Jared, over to you.
Great. Well, thank you for that introduction, and I'm excited to be here as well and give you hold nothing back essentially. Give as much value as I can with the things that I know, and because knowledge is very important. And in terms of my story and where I started, my entrepreneurial journey did not begin right away. I was going the very traditional route. I was going the very corporate route. I was going very sales, management, suit and tie, big corporate companies. And during college, while I was getting my business degree, I was working retail and I started in the Macy's stock room. So that was one of my first jobs. And then moving up the ranks in retail, I ended up at Nordstrom because the game was to be in sales. So while I'm in college, I can't work full time anywhere, but I can at least work retail and get some client facing time. And then I graduated, I went to a corporate sales role selling payroll and human resource software. And believe it or not, in that job is really where my entrepreneurial journey began because of recognizing how the world actually is, right? And I started to realize that these corporate roles are really how most people live. Like that's life to a lot of people. They go into a big job, a big company, they stay there for X amount of time, and they die. Like, I know it sounds kind of morbid, but that is life for a lot of people. And I recognized the politics, I recognized the micromanagement, I recognized a lot of the things I disliked about the corporate world. And from a fulfillment and from an earning potential standpoint, I came to the realization that I needed to start my own company. I needed to be an entrepreneur. Like it wasn't an aspiration, it was a need, right? It was something that was so important for me to do that I gave myself no other option. So around the time of COVID hit, I was selling payroll to small businesses, so everything started to collapse and things were really changing. I really realized I had to do this, and I came to the idea of creating a brand, a clothing brand that combined spirituality and streetwear. So I really wanted it to be like a rude or a really cool brand of that nature, but also carry a deeper meaning when it comes to the designs and the brand. So I worked on that for the next 8 months. I launched it, and that was the start of my entrepreneurial journey. Now you fast forward through that first year, again, the knowledge thing, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. So that first year, I really was figuring it out. I'm trying to invest in mentors. I'm buying courses. I really didn't know what I didn't know. And the brand grew, got it on a lot of public figures, a lot of celebrities as well. And that's when I started Fanta because I recognized that I've built these relationships now in the public world, whether it be sports, music, or media, and they all love fashion, right? They all love clothes. So why not make them their own brand? And so Phantom was born. And now we're creating brands for, people in the NBA, people in the NFL, people in music, etc. It's a very exciting projects that we work on. So that's my story up to this point. And then when I started Phantom, I started creating content, personal brand content, and now I'm an online coach as well. So people will come to me for one-on-one business coach and mindset coach, and that's currently what I'm working on.
Amazing. What an interesting story. You've come a long way. And yeah, one thing that I figured I learned from your story is the fact that you are going after knowledge. Like you mentioned, you said you went after mentors, you got a course and all of that. And that's really encouraging because not many people in that situation want to go after seeking knowledge. A lot of people love shortcuts. And seeing that you went after seeking insight, that's a good one. And that's really encouraging. And I love that.
Yeah,
And also
knowledge is
that,
the shortcut.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's as best of a shortcut as you're going to get as a mentor
I
or
tell
getting the
you.
information, because that's it. Because you just can't skip the work, but you can figure out things quicker by paying for
Hmm.
information. So you don't pay with your time.
Exactly. That's right. In that part, you mentioned that you needed to do it not because of any other thing, but because it is compulsory. You just need to do it, not because of aspiration, but because you need to do it from the standpoint of fulfillment. And that's something that I picked, and I love that. So, shall we get started with the questions, Jared?
Please.
Okay, now for someone who wants to create or who wants to build a brand that sells, okay, what are some insights or tips you'd like to share with someone like that?
Yeah. So if we're talking about a product-based brand, right? Because you can have personal brand, you can have clothing, whatever. If we're talking a product-based brand, what I would recommend is don't because so here's what happens a lot of the times. A lot of people that want to start product-based businesses are creatives, right? They have the creative side down. They've always been very creative. So that's what inspires that desire because they want to create a product and express their artistic belief. The problem is that a lot of times they ignore the business and the operational side of the business, right? And what it comes down to is really, really understanding your target audience. Whether you're creating content, whether you're selling a product, you really need to know who are you selling to. And not only that, but you need to understand what are they currently buying, right? Nobody starting out is going to be in a position to create trends. That's just not going to happen, right? So don't reinvent the wheel. Understand what's working for the people that you want to currently sell to and make your own iteration of it. You're going to save so much headache. You're going to save so much time, and it's actually going to sell because, again, it's proven. Like your competitors have already taken the time, energy, and resources to understand what's working. So don't reinvent the wheel, iterate, and understand your target audience is what I would say.
Powerful. I mentioned in the beginning, I said, I am sure that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from you. And that is happening already. Okay, let us look at it from the perspective of someone who wants to be an online coach and he's got courses to sell. Now, what insight or tips can you share with someone like that?
So currently, I only do coaching, so I don't have any course material yet. But in terms of coaching, what I'm learning, right? Because again, coaching is kind of new to me. Like I've been in the online space for some years now, but I've only started creating a personal brand the last few months, and I've only started getting coaching clients the last few months because I've started creating content. But I have a mentor, like I said, I have a mentor, and I have these things to give me the shortcut, right? So if you want to be an online coach, what I've recognized and what I see that works really well is be really authentic. This is all kind of cliche, but it genuinely works. It converts to dollars. I know it sounds cliche, but it converts to dollars. Be very authentic. Tell your story. Give as much value as you can, whether it be business, whether it be health, whether it be mindset, and genuinely try to help people with your free content. Like if somebody can watch a reel of you or read a post of yours and gain something from it they can apply to their lives, they're going to be inclined to work with you. Right. And then again, it goes back to the target audience thing. That's any business model. So we need to understand what are the pain points of the people that would want to work with me, right? Is it financial? Is it weight loss? What is the pain point? And how can I curate solutions around that make a lot of sense?
Oh man, very, very educating. I love that. You see, things like this I love. Getting to learn from people. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I
I'm glad.
realized that you are a big believer in manifestation. So can you explain how you've used manifestation to create real results in your life and business?
Yeah, it's very, very powerful. I would say that the vast majority of attaining anything, success, progress, starts internally, right? You have the internal world and you have the external world, and I believe that the internal world is that important, and it should demand a lot of your time. And to give best practices, how to manifest really works from a state of belief, right? A state of conviction, understanding where you want to go, having a clear endpoint, a plan. And I think really what it comes down to is, of course, I could talk about this for days on end. But to give somebody the shortcut of it really is you really need to see it and believe it as if it's already yours and embody that all the time, like all the time, right? Like, for example, if you want to manifest more money, okay, you understand how much money you want to make in what timeline, you can see it in your mind's eye, and you're visualizing, you're doing all these things. But when you're at the grocery store, you're having panic attacks about buying groceries, you're living in scarcity, right? It's in the details. So it's not enough to just do this practice 10 minutes a day. You need to be the person now. Wherever it is you want to go, you need to be the person now. That's in a nutshell how I would categorize how to manifest.
Brilliant, I got that. Okay, so we still have some questions here, Jared. All right.
Cool. Yeah. I'm
So
good.
what challenges did you face, early as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome them, to reach the success that you have today?
I think that, well, first off, I ran into a lot of problems. One of the problems I ran into was within a few weeks of me launching my first brand, I was basically wiped off the internet because I hired somebody on Fiverr and they hacked me and
Ooh.
all of these random things. Yeah, not fun. I've been on the brink of quitting and leaving entrepreneurship many times, especially in the first couple of years, many times. And without going into like crazy specifics, how I would attack problems and things that come up in anybody's life, and what I did is detach your emotion immediately. Think of solutions and do them very fast. And I think a perspective to have as well is you've gone through things and you've been fine, right? A lot of times in the heat of the moment when we're in a very high emotional state, we really believe that this is like the end, right? We really get in our heads in a very negative light. And if you can have the perspective to understand that you're going to be fine, you're going to find a solution, and you're going to get through it and ultimately have that faith, everything will be fine. It's just detaching from that emotion that really, really will serve you well.
I got that. I got that. Really educating stuff, You've been saying some insightful stuff here, Jared. Okay,
Good.
now let us
I'm
get a
glad,
bit
man. That's why I'm
personal.
here.
Yeah. So, how did you go from business owner to coach? And you say, how are you able to balance the both?
Hmm. That's a good question. So I'm still doing both. I haven't left Phantom, so I still own Phantom. I still run Phantom on a daily basis, and I'm still a coach. So how I balance it is I will identify essentially like problems and bottlenecks that's going to come up as I'm growing, right? So like as I grow the coaching business, my time is probably going to get wrapped up more in coaching. So then I need to find solutions to still executing on things I would be spending time on, right? And that's when you have team members, you hire, and you have people do the thing so you can allocate your time elsewhere. It really just depends on time allocation and what has the highest leverage for what you want to do. So I want to outsource everything I can that is not of high priority, right? And I still have to take the time to train them, and I still have to take the time to onboard them and make sure they're motivated and give them SOPs, which are like, training documents and systems and stuff like that. But I'd much rather spend the time doing that and then have them like 10x my work output than me do everything, because I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be going insane.
All right.
So long story short, hire well and train them.
Hire well and train them. Got that. Beautiful. So to bring this to an end, Jared, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you're doing. You've said some amazing stuffs and it resonated and they would love to learn more. How can that be possible?
Yeah. So, what I would say to anybody that is a current or aspiring entrepreneur is to not limit yourself and to really understand on a fundamental level that you are the only limit, right? A lot of times people look at external circumstances and they become a victim of circumstance, and the market's this and the economy's this and the wars and whatever. There's always a plentiful amount of abundance in the world, right? It really, you can create anything you want. The only limit is your mindset. And I would spend the time before you dive into a business model, if you're just starting out, to really dive into personal development and really to understand thoroughly how to use your mind the right way. Beyond that, how to contact me. My handles are all Jared Jennings. That's my full name. So LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube, I post a lot of long form, like courses and really informational stuff. Instagram is very behind the scenes of my life. And so, yeah, all platforms, Jared Jennings. And you can find more info there.
Beautiful. You can create anything, and the only limit is your mindset. Jared 2024. I get that. Beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Jared. Thank you for
Great.
coming and thank you for, extending these informations to us. It means a whole lot, man. Thank you.
I'm happy to. Thanks for having me.